New Year's resolutions might seem a little taboo, but I think they're an amazing way to get a fresh start and really revitalize your energy and get you to set some goals. So tune into this video and let's find out how to keep to our New Year's resolutions so we can hit them and they can be lifelong habits and identities that we possess. So join me here as we dive into how to create sustainable, healthy New Year's resolutions, and also bonus, how they're super good for our kids. So check this out and we're gonna dive into all these fun topics here. Okay, so once you pick your New Year's resolution, so let's just pick one that is commonly picked for a lot of people, weight loss or fitness, all right? So I'm on my own journey as well. And the very first thing that I think is great to do is what's called habit stacking. So this is the very first tip. Habit stacking is when, say you want to learn more about nutrition or you want to study certain diet protocols that you might want to implement into your life or different wellness hacks. Maybe you tune into a podcast that is about nutritional information that you want to digest. Well, when you tune into that, maybe you're tuning into that podcast when you're already washing the dishes or folding the laundry. So you're just taking that podcast, you want to consume that information and you're not making dedicated time for it, but you're doing it while you're folding all the kids' laundry, right? Mom's got to have this dynamic balance and we fit our goals in. But as far as like achieving a New Year's resolution goal, we have to make ourselves the priority. A lot of moms struggle to make ourselves the priority. And so habit stacking is a great way to start to do that. So maybe you're going to your son's football practice or hockey practice and you're sitting in the stands watching them, and your habit could be that the podcast you're listening to is a nutritional podcast instead of scrolling Instagram. You know, it's the truth, right? The other thing you could do is then maybe you start to do more fitness related things. Maybe you start to walk the stairs during that practice and that becomes like how you're getting your steps in the day. But habit stacking is a super effective way to start to commit to something and make it more of a daily habit. So then every practice for the next year, your body's like, hey, yeah, we get to walk stairs during this practice. And so it's just a great way to start to implement new habits that are going to slowly progress you and create that change that we want to see. Okay, the next thing is make small changes. So yes, we might feel like we have to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, or maybe the goal is that you want to run 50 miles and you can't even run one right now. And those are amazing goals. And don't lose sight of whatever goal it is for your body and your dreams. All goals are valid, okay? But we also want to make super small changes because it's the small changes that are gonna add up to the biggest effect. So it's that 6 a.m. workout. If you're used to getting up at 6 a.m. and that's the time you exercise, great. But if you're not used to getting up at 6 a.m., maybe you start getting up at 6 a.m. because that's when you're gonna fit your workout in. And if you can start to make that change, maybe you get up at 6 and maybe you go for a 2-mile walk, or maybe you do some stretching, or maybe you do a strength routine. You want to start to find these little things that make your life enhanced, that you don't dread, that you feel like you can stick to. So it's a very small change. Maybe it's during your lunch break, you eat your lunch, but then you go out and you have a walk, or you walk for 15 minutes after you eat a meal, instead of whatever, scrolling Instagram or doing the laundry, So it's these little things, the small changes that are going to add up to make the big effects. So for me personally, I have to wake up at 4:30 or 5 every single morning, depending on my workout. And I have to do it even when I don't feel like doing it. And it's the days that I don't feel like doing it, that would be easy to just throw in the towel and say, forget about it. But the truth is, it's those days, and it's doing it every single day for the last 2.5 years that have got me to the fitness point that I am right now, that is going to help me continue to progress my fitness and wellness. Yes, for me, it has to be early in the morning because if I don't get it done before the kids wake up, then my priority shifts all to the kids all day long, even when I'm getting them to school, right? Then there's still the laundry, I still have to work. There's still all these other things that kind of creep up into that time and into that day that I have to take care of, that I am responsible for. So I take responsibility for my fitness and my well-being in the morning before the kids wake up. So if you're not used to maybe prepping your own food for the week or bringing your lunch. Maybe you just simply start by bringing your lunch instead of eating out. And it's those little changes. Maybe you allow yourself to eat out lunch twice a week and you bring your lunch 3 days a week. If you're eating out every single day, that's going to make a huge impact. That's a financial savings if your goal is financial, and that could also be a health savings. Eating out, there's a lot more fats in our food, there's a lot more salt in our food, a lot more sugar in the food. When we make food ourselves, we don't have all those additives, and so things aren't as calorically dense, and it tends to be that we, don't consume as much, or we stop when we're full. If things, because maybe it's not as palatable as eating out. It doesn't mean you can't eat out. It just means that we want to start to shift those small changes. So first thing we talked about here was the habit stacking. Second thing is make small changes. And it same goes for if you're not used to working out. You don't want to just go hit a boot camp. Maybe walking is going to be a great place to start. Maybe it's going to be stretching is a great place to start. And so you don't have to start so aggressively. Maybe you want to start weight training. Well, maybe you go through the process of the weight training program that you want to do, but then you don't actually lift any weights. You're just going through the movement patterns and learning the movement patterns. And that is an excellent place to start because the body takes time to adapt. And if you just throw on 100 pounds and start squatting right away, and maybe you did that 10 years ago and that worked for you then, but you're in a different body now, we have to make those small changes. We can't just load the system and burn it out, because if we burn out in the first week, if we burn out in the first month, that's not a sustainable change and sustainable integration into our lives. So yeah, we might hit our goal, but we might be super burned out and we might not be able to maintain that goal. So it's really important that the changes we make are very, very small, and those small changes add up over time. Number 3 is get a support team. So maybe you tell your best friend, hey, I am gonna really stick to my budget this year. That's my New Year's resolution. And so I might not go on as many shopping sprees with you, just so you know. Maybe you decide you're gonna have a year being alcohol free. And so you tell your friends, hey, just so you know, I've cut out alcohol. I'm not gonna drink, so don't ask me if I'm gonna drink or not, or what I'm drinking or why I'm not drinking. And for me personally, I cut out alcohol in August. So it's been about 5 months since I haven't had a drink, and I just did it for health reasons. I just want to be the healthiest I can. I never get a good sleep score after I drink, so I want to just be as optimized as possible. So I decided to cut out alcohol at least for a while, and it's already been 5 months. So, and sometimes I'll just text a friend that I haven't seen in about in that 5-month period and just say, hey, just so you know, I know we're going to the bar, which I'm excited about, but I am going to order a soda water, just letting you know. And my friends have been really supportive about that. And I'm sure your friends will be as well. And if they're not, maybe it's time to rethink our friendships. No, I'm just kidding. This isn't that. But I want you to know that, just getting people on board, or you're telling them you're going to eat a different way, then that can also motivate them. So it's okay to share. Maybe you've been on 20 diets and your friends are like, you're always dieting. So maybe you don't feel like you're going to share with your friends, and that's okay too. But you want some kind of support system. So maybe it's, okay, have you dieted 20 times before and it hasn't worked? Do I need a coach instead? Do I need a personal trainer? Do I need a nutrition coach? Do I need someone that's going to help me hold myself accountable? For me, that's been extremely valuable resource, is having a fitness and nutrition coach who can just keep me online and keep me progressing in the way that I want to progress, and just help me, I hold myself accountable to myself, but also they hold me accountable to myself. And that can be very helpful. So you just want to make sure that you have this strong support network that is going to help you achieve that goal. The other thing we know is our kids get sick. And it's easy to get off track. And so, if you were up all night and you're having to literally hold your baby, or you're cuddling your toddler or your 6-year-old or 8-year-old, you might not be able to hit some workouts. And so you might have to miss a couple, or you figure out a way to get it in even while they're sick. But there's gonna be those times that we get interrupted and our goals don't have to get put on the back burner, but there are going to be days where we miss, and that consistency isn't going to be there. And so on those days, those are going to happen, and we know they're going to happen. But if we track our progress, and we're tracking our progress every single day, whether that is you're tracking your budget progress. Am I sticking to this monthly budget? Or am I sticking to eating 2,000 calories a day? Or whatever it is for you. Am I sticking to not eating out? If you can track this, maybe it's a spreadsheet, maybe if your goal is weight loss or strength, maybe you're tracking it with body pictures. But if you're tracking yourself, you can review your progress. And it's that progress that can give you motivation, especially in those down times when our kids are sick and you're like, I want to just throw in the towel and go completely off the wagon. But knowing, hey, okay, I might miss a couple days of workouts because I'm sick, or kids are on spring break and I want to be on vacation too. Of course you do. And that is so legit. And we have a life to live, but our goals can still be a part of our life. And as long as we're tracking some kind of measurement, I don't love the weight measurement, but maybe that's what you want to do originally to start. Maybe it's how much weight you can lift. Maybe it's how closely you can stick to your budget. Maybe it's how many times a week you can eat out. If you're tracking this in a spreadsheet, you're going to be able to see your progress, and that progress becomes additional motivation for you to continue to progress on this New Year's resolution journey that you're going to be on, hopefully for the next year and the years to come. And so, we want to pick our resolutions wisely, but we want to have a plan to stick with them, because we don't want to just lose 20 pounds. We want to be able to be healthy and keep that 20 pounds off and still participate in life and enjoy every aspect of it, but not have to have this New Year's resolution the next year. The very final thing, and the reason what I want to leave you with, is doing a New Year's resolution is an amazing thing for your kids to see. When we pick goals that we want to hit, and our kids see us making decisions to achieve those goals, we're teaching them discipline. We're teaching them hard work. We're teaching them to be consistent and to stick to something in order to achieve something. And I think there is no better way to demonstrate and teach our children than to show them. And we can talk about it and we can discuss our goals with them and discuss, what we're doing to achieve those goals. But if they see us achieving the goals, that is the best learning possible. And so I want to leave you with that. Set a New Year's resolution, be proud of it, maybe share it with your family as a support, but also just have your kids watching you and seeing you set goals tells them how important it is for them to pick goals for themselves and to focus on themselves and make themselves a priority, because this is their life. And you do that by demonstrating to them what that priority looks like when you make yourself a priority. I hope you found this video helpful. I would love to know what your New Year's resolutions are. Drop them in the comment below. 2024 New Year's resolution. What are you going to achieve? You're going to use the tips we talked about in this video. We talked about habit stacking. We talked about making small changes. We talked about getting a family support system. And we talked about the importance of tracking your progress. Tracking your progress is extremely important. And then the bonus is our family gets to see us achieving our goals, which is going to motivate them and teach them new ways that they can work hard and motivate themselves. I hope you found this video helpful. Please drop us a line in the comments, like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We are super excited that you're here joining us today, and stay tuned for more videos to come. I wish you the ultimate best 2024, feeling amazing in your bodies and just showing your kids the best example possible. I cannot wait to hear what your New Year's resolution is. And in 6 months, I would love to check in and see where you're at with that resolution. All right, take care, guys.